So I just got back from IREX 2025 in Tokyo, Japan. Let's talk about it a little bit. So the IREX show is held every 2 years, and my personal opinion is that the show is typically 5 years ahead of any show that I go to in North America. So I like to go there and check out things, especially in the non-industrial area. There's like an area there at the IREX where some universities are, and you can really see some really bleeding cutting-edge technology and see what the Japanese engineers are up to, and it's really interesting to see. So I made some videos. I'll link my YouTube playlist down below if you want to check it out, but let's talk about what I actually saw. So the theme that I saw this year was definitely bipeds and hands, okay? So I probably counted about 22 hand companies. A lot of them were, just kind of in a beginning stage, but the one that popped out the most was a company called Hitbot. I believe they're based in China, and they have sensors, like pressure sensors on all of the fingers. It can move around. I'll try to put a clip of the video while I'm talking here a little bit so you can kind of see what it is. But the most interesting thing about the hands is it's a CAN bus interface, CAN FD, and they advertise the price to be $666 US, which I think they need to change the price of that to something different, like $699 or something, if they're going to try to sell that in the US. But anyway, so these hands are for like basically biped robots. Okay, so there's a lot of biped robot companies. A lot of them are China. Again, not a lot of companies there were very polished, but of course Unitree is the one that is leading. I think leading it as far as mechanical or motion control, if you will. Now, obviously, the robots are remote controlled, but however, the motion control and algorithm and software and everything that goes along with the biped is most advanced with the Unitree line there, where they released a small little guy here that you can just press a button and it runs through like a motion routine, and it was doing like some somersaults and stuff. And so their motion basically control is very, very polished. And so what does that mean? So to me, like being an industrial robot guy, PLC programmer, how does bipeds and hands fit into like our industry? And really, I didn't see, a lot of people that were advertising or showing like bipeds being utilized in an industrial setting. However, I think that's kind of, maybe that's something that we need to solve here in the U.S. because, if there's an easy way to teach a biped robot, maybe with some VR goggles and some sort of a coordinate system that you teach in a space, and, you use the biped software to run a routine, let's say, okay? And then somehow that routine needs to be tied into, something that we're used to, or would be a good fit in the industry, and that is a PLC, right? So like being a controls engineer, I think it would be awesome if we could remote control like a biped or tell a biped, all right, well, it's time to run this routine, and then, it has its own closed loop control system, motion control systems. Maybe it's running ROS or ROS2 or whatever operating system it's running. And it's being taught, in a way that's simplistic to a manufacturing environment. So maybe we need to pick up a box and load a CNC machine or palletize, something. That would be, kind of the trend that, it would be nice to see, coming from some of these bipeds that might be coming out in the future. And now that you have all of these hand companies, right? These hand companies, and you put those on the bipeds, now you've got something. So maybe in the next 5 years, we're going to see some interesting things happen in the manufacturing environment with bipeds and hands.